reforming the methodologies or the curriculum of our education. One such thing is what we call as LOCF, Learning Outcomes Based Curriculum Framework. Okay, a recap of previous sessions. We had seen the components of LOCF, the model created at Loyola College. One part is OBE based curriculum designing, and under that, we had seen how to visualize or how to understand program educational objectives, PEOs. This is constructed in our college under school level. We are categorized into different schools: School of Computational Sciences. Under schools, we just sit together and we just sat together and summed up several objectives, and which is common. These objectives are common for that particular school. The presented objectives, sorry, the presented slide are some points to remember how to frame the uh, program uh, educational objectives for schools. And these are all these things already we have seen. These are program specific outcomes. Once again, I'm just highlighting the abbreviations and expansions. Program specific outcomes are expected outcomes for a particular program, either BSc or MSc, offered by a particular department. For example, mathematics. Particular specific expected outcomes are put under several points. And how these things are given as vision, mission, core values of, and these are the crux of CEOs, and how to just course descriptors, how we have already explained course descriptors on under how many components. There are actually uh, 17 components, and just we had already seen, and I came to know that you people have started working on course outcomes as well as working out dynamic lesson plans. That was nice to hear from you. Just I'm doing a recap. Then part one was OBE based curriculum designing, and how the mappings have to be done. Actually, the mapping, the values given like 0 to 3 in a 3 scale value, it is just by the opinion of an expert. Who is an expert, or who are experts? A particular person or a group of faculty who have handled that particular course for maybe about a couple of years will be treated as, or will be assumed as, an expert to give their opinions, to say what is the correlation, between PEOs and PO, or for that matter any other set of statements, either PEOs POs, or POs PSOs, or PSOs with COs, or POs with COs, anything for that matter. And these are the different mappings to be done and presented to you. What are the things to be done by the officials, and certain mappings should be done by the course faculty. Yes. Now we'll see how the mappings have to be done for a particular program. Okay, certain kinds of mappings, like what has been shown in the present slide. Mappings from vision and mission statement. Is my cursor visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Vision and mission statements of the particular institution to be mapped with PEOs, program educational objectives. You might have coined the vision and mission statements as paragraphs, or you would have breaked up the mission and mission statements as points. No matter, however, whichever way you have done, keep it as you have done. Yes, as we have given a model, we have kept vision as one statement and mission as 4 statements. So vision, mission on as row headers, and we have these educational objectives under school level we have done, right? We have put that under that as column headers: PEO, PEO2, PEO3, PEO4, etc., PEO6. Now for experts have to give the correlation for this mapping. Who are experts? The management authority, the HODs coordinators of departments are the experts to give their opinion. So going through the vision statement and going through the first program educational objective, what is the relation between them, how far they are matching together. Actually, this correlation is just seeing the level of matching. If this vision statement with first program educational objectives, uh, the matching is excellent, you can give the highest value like high correlation. As we Loyola have has taken a mapping scale: 3 for high correlation, 2 for moderate correlation, low 1 for low correlation, and 0 for nil correlation, no correlation. Okay, the number or the uh, alphabet which you going to use, it is up to the management and up to the professors or the team of LOCF members to decide upon. We had decided to use numbers, so that understanding numbers will be more easier, so that by seeing the rank itself we'll be able to understand how much the matching is being done. Okay. Similarly, vision of the college, how does it match with second statement of program educational objective? If it is moderately okay, give 2. If it is thoroughly okay, then you could give a 3 also. Similar way, you do the rest of the thing. Similarly, first mission statement, how does it match with first statement? This correlation is, I again make a disclaimer, this correlation is nothing to do with the statistical correlation. Statistical correlation goes with some concept. Of course, the overall picture of correlation is same, but they do in a very technical way. They do some tabulation, they'll take the coefficients and then insert it in the formula, and they will take correlation coefficient. And what we meant have mentioned, high correlation, moderate correlation, low correlation, is just the level of associativeness with the vision statement and PEO1. What is the level of associativeness? That's it. That is meant as, literally we have meant this correlation, not statistically we did not, or technically we did not mean that correlation word. Okay, this high correlation means highly this these two statements matches. That is the idea behind this correlation. Similarly, if you take the second table, table 2, which is said as to be done by HOD's coordinator or the highest officials in the department, is done between program educational objectives and program outcomes. Program educational objectives and program outcomes. Program educational objectives are the objectives under the school level, the major objectives for that particular school, keeping in mind all the departments coming under that particular school. For example, here in under School of Computational Sciences, there are 4 departments, namely mathematics, statistics, computer science, and data science. So, for common for all the 4 departments, what are the objectives? So, under one roof of computational sciences, these objectives, program educational objectives, have been planned, have been framed. Now, program outcomes also have been done under the roof of school, but keeping in mind what are specific for department. Okay, so program outcomes also have been done with the thing in mind. Under school level, we have done. Whereas PSO, next table, PSO has been done just by the OBE team of the department itself. Now, even program educational objectives, how objectives of this program and outcomes of this program match, that is given in this second table. Third table, how program educational objectives and program specific outcomes for, now we have adopted LOCF model only for undergraduation level. So how the UG program specific outcomes caters or matches with program educational objectives, that is given in this table. And as I'd already told you, uh, after giving or after getting the opinion from experts, just calculate how many ever high correlations entries have been given in this particular first table. So you count the number of high correlations. Either you are following alphabet H or some number which corresponds to high correlation. How many ever entries related with high correlation comes in this table? Just count it and divide by the total count. How many entries, total entries are there in this first box? 5 rows and 6 columns. So it's 30 entries. So total number of high correlation entries divided by total entries divided by 30 multiplied by 100 will give you, and just round it off. Just we had just rounded off. We did not put as decimal values. We just rounded off and given this high correlation as a integer percentage. Okay, and similarly do for moderate correlation. Similarly do for low correlation. If there is nil correlation, you have to count which are all with nil correlation. Now after doing that, there arises a question. What is the question? If suppose high correlation percentage is higher, moderate correlation percentage is actually moderate, and low correlation percentage is actually lesser, it won't prick any questions. It won't no one might shoot questions. But if we get a high level correlation as a lesser percentage and a low level correlation as higher percentage, then there arises a question: why? What is the problem? Why has this has been come out as opinions or come out as correlations? The reason behind that should be the vision mission statements would have not been correlated, or which wouldn't have matched with the program education objectives. Then there arises questions from management side or any other, not only necessarily management, even a person who just sees from, as a lay person who sees out from outside, they may question how, why the high correlation is very low, why the low correlation is very high, because of the mismatching of vision mission statements and program education objective statements. If that comes, then the way which we had prepared program educational objectives had not been suitable for vision and mission statements. That is the reason why I had mentioned or insisted upon in the previous session that only with the vision and mission statements as the base, அந்த vision and mission statement தான் ஆதாரமாக வச்சுட்டு then we have to build up program education objectives. With vision mission statements and program education objectives as a base, we have to create program outcomes. Then with all these things, three things as base, we have to frame PSOs under the program level offered by a particular department like BSc Mathematics or MSc Mathematics. Keeping all these things as base, vision mission statements of the institution, PEOs of program education objectives of particular school, program outcomes related with particular school, program specific outcomes related with the particular program offered by the particular department, all these things keeping in mind, if we frame those COs, course objectives for a particular course, what we call as papers like psychology or algebra or calculus or whichever paper, all the correlations will go and ultimate purpose will be achieved. So do the same process for next set of mapping, PO and PSO. What we have done, we had tried to map everything with everything else. Not exactly, mostly we have mapped everything with everything else. What are the statements? Basically vision mission statements under college level, program educational objectives under school level, program outcomes under school level, third thing. Fourth thing, program specific outcomes under department level. Fifth thing, all these five things are fixed for all the courses offered by a particular department. The fifth thing, course outcomes, are respective to the particular course which has been offered. So after doing that course outcomes, now course outcomes with cognitive level, it is a standard mapping which was just suggested by the team members of LOCF, the core team members of LOCF, and everybody of the rest of the college has had followed it. We had grouped up this cognitive level. You know, cognitive level are just the levels, the quotient levels, until IQ levels given by the Bloom's taxonomy, which is not new for you. We have clubbed K1 and K2, knowing and understanding level under single CO1, course outcome 1. We have mapped this K3 level under CO2. We have mapped K4 level under this CO3. We have mapped K5 level under CO4. We have mapped K6 level under CO5. This is not a hard and fast rule. If suppose this is okay for your purpose of education, just you may follow. Otherwise, if you need to do some alterations, you might do it. That is up to your model of LOCF. Then after framing course outcomes for the courses, these mappings also have to be done. Course outcomes with PSOs, program specific outcomes. So according to that particular course, for example, differential equations and Laplace transforms is one course offered for undergraduate students of mathematics. The course outcomes, how do they match with program specific outcomes? That is given in this mapping by the experts of that particular course, differential equations. Yes. Next table, which is presented here, just giving a particular opinion is just not enough. We need to give justification for such mapping. Actually, in the previous slide, there was a mapping of CO with PSO, that is course outcomes with program specific outcomes. Now, by the experts, opinion was given, like how the course outcome 1 was matching with program specific outcome 1. Similarly, program specific outcome 2, program specific outcome 3, etc., etc. Okay, and the experts would have given the opinion, given the correlation as 3 to 1. Okay, now on what basis have they given that particular opinion? That justification should be given very rigidly, very not rigidly, very rigorously. That is presented as an example here. Now, collecting all the high levels, that is high correlating levels, CO1s, with which of the PSOs have been mapped with high correlation, you just pick out those PSOs and just put it here, and why you have given high correlation for CO1 with PSO1, PSO6. Give the justification here. Actually, this justification is in association with the way in which the PSO1 and PSO6 have been framed. Keeping that in mind, the justification has been given. Similarly, we have to give how CO2 is highly correlated with PSO2 and PSO4. We have to give justification. So, giving justification for all the high correlation. Next next grid is for moderate correlation. Well, next grid is for low correlation. Next grid is for nil correlation. So, seeing this justification, even any stakeholder, like student community is one stakeholder. The parents are also stakeholders. The persons who are going to hire the persons, or in the sense, those who are giving jobs for our students, are going to be level 2 stakeholders. When they see these things, they will be able to understand, or in a position they'll try to understand how this mapping has been given, and given justification. And these justification has to be given, or else, or rather, how would I say is, we have given justifications for three mappings. That is the mapping given by the course teacher. That is CO with PSO, CO with POs, program outcomes, then CO with PEOs, program educational objectives. For these three things, after giving mapping, we immediately gave justification. Okay, these are the three justification tables. Yes, ma'am. By the way, ma'am, I think with that, the part one of OB LOCF model gets complete. Do you have any other clarifications, dear professors?
So you have given justification as a model, right? Only one you have written in the
Yes,
table.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Everything we need to write it, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay, sir.
yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, you may customize the way of justifying according to the purpose and need of that particular course and the mode of that course or the scope of that course also. Maybe psychology may be having a certain way of scope for justifying certain things, whereas some other course may have different way of doing their justification. So according to the particular course, these justifications could be customized.
Okay.
Shall I move to the next part?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Second part is assessment. Okay. Now, how the core members of Loyola LOCF model have worked and put this parts. In my understanding, part one is the groundwork done before students coming. Before students coming, what are the things should have been done? Actually, whether it has been done or not, it is another question. But the part one is the groundwork which has to be done for uh, this LOCF model, and part two is something which the students experience and what the faculty give as feedback. Actually, precisely speaking, the evaluation part that is given in part two. Part three is like something which is opposite to the groundwork. After everything gets complete, after the students complete their program, maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 years program, after that, what are the results which are they going to get, or what is the attainment of all the entire process? What is the attainment? That calculation part is given under part three. Now we have covered the groundwork of LOCF model. Now part two gives the evaluation model. Already we were doing a particular style of evaluation model. Certain aspects in certain attributes we had categorized certain things, that's it, according to the LOCF model, that's it. Nothing big has been changed, only few things have been changed. But now everything has been categorized under Bloom's taxonomy. What are going to come under K1 level, what are going to come under K2 level, etc., until K6 level. Similarly, when we are categorizing certain things under Bloom's taxonomy under K1 to K6 level, automatically it gets clustered under CO1, CO2, CO3, CO5, etc., etc., CO5. No doubt in that. In that way, when we come to the end part of evaluation, we'll be having a clear picture like how or how much a particular student, if you take the result of a particular student in a particular course itself. For example, like abstract algebra is one course offered in third semester in UG curriculum. At the end of third semester, after evaluation process is over, what are the marks scored by a particular student under internal evaluation, CIA, or third component? Actually, what we call this third component is nothing but a part of internal evaluation. Let me explain when I go to next slides. And this end semester is at the end of the semester we'll conduct one examination, and along these process a particular student, how much performance he had done under K1 level, under K2 level, under K3, etc., etc., under K6 level. So after doing this, the last part calculation will become simpler. So a particular person had done this much performance in K1 level, K2 level. So we'll be able to understand and categorize the students' level of IQ under this level. I won't say this is the best model, or this is the only method, or this is the best method. We are giving, or we are trying to give some room to categorize according to the Bloom's taxonomy level. That's it. Yes, let us get inside the second part. 32, 33. Yeah. Actually, what our college adopts the marks split along the semester is 50 percentage weightage for internal valuation and 50 percentage weightage for semester value end semester examination. We call that as external valuation. Okay. This internal valuation is done continuously. We call that as continuous internal assessment. The name comes, the abbreviation CIA. So in a particular semester, like in schools, we call midterm test quarterly, another second midterm test half yearly, or maybe two midterm tests in a particular term. Otherwise, in certain schools, they will call us formative assessment, summative assessment, FAs and essays. Same thing, we name it as continual internal assessments and end semester examination. So this continuous internal assessment will be done after the beginning of after the end of 1 month of the beginning of one particular semester. Okay, and second internal assessment will be done after another 2 months. So in the process of studying or taking up one semester itself, a student will take up two CIA. So we'll take 30 percentage marks of 30 marks for first CIA, 30 marks for second CIA, and this component 3, actually we call this as component 1 as first CIA, component 2 as second CIA, component 3 we break as different parts. As an autonomous college, college has given autonomy to every faculty to create his or her own model to break up this component tree, that is break up this 40 marks into any number of components, any number of methodologies like seminars giving, like assignments or MCQ tests or quizzes or viva voce, anything. There is no restriction for uh, categorizing this component three. Ultimately, we have to sum up and consolidate all the valuation into 40 marks. So 30 plus 30 plus 40 gives a total of 100 marks. How many ever marks we could conduct this component 3, ultimately we will consolidate into 40 marks. So 30, 30, 40 will give 100. End semester also will be given for 100. Ultimately we'll get 200. Actually, this out of this 200, 50 percentage is 100. So that 100 marks will be given as aggregate marks, and that will be presented in the mark sheets or cumulative grade card of the particular student. This is for student. Now, what is the slight difference? What we are adapting this in this LOCF model is, out of this 200, just take 90 percentage. 90 percentage in the sense, actually 45 percentage actually. Okay, 90 percentage means out of this 100 marks, you take 90 percentage, so 90 marks. Then this is what we call that as direct method, and indirect method is the feedbacks from different stakeholders. Actually, the first hand stakeholders are students, and in level 2 we have having parents and alumnus also. Alumni means even after 2 3 years of 2 3 years after they go out from the college, we get feedback from them. Okay, then from the employer who are going to employ our students, from those employers we will be taking feedback and consolidating all the feedbacks related with the course, related with the course specified for a particular course, designed questionnaire by the particular course faculty. So that feedback will be consolidated for 10 marks, and that 10 marks and this 90 percentage marks together put together, we will get 100 percentage. That will be taken as CO attainment calculation. That will be taken into account for CO attainment calculation. That attainment calculation will be given under part 3. If time permits, we will complete that by 2 o'clock. Otherwise, I won't be able to complete that part alone. Now, CL means cognitive levels. CL means cognitive levels. How are marks distributed under cognitive levels? These are the percentage breakup for each levels. Level 1, level 2. Level 1 means that is nothing but CO1. CO1 corresponds to K1 and K2, remembering and understanding level. CO2 level 2 corresponds to K3. So this much of percentage is given, this much of percentage weightage is been given for a particular question paper under this level. Similarly, 21 for level 2 and level 3, that is CO2 and CO3. Similarly, 16 percentage for CO4 and 16 percentage for CO5, the final creation level. And this is the mark distribution. Okay, this tabulation gives you a precise look on how we have adopted a CIA question paper model. This is format for CIA question paper. Next, I'll show sample question paper. Um, yes, we have divided the entire question paper, whether it is CIA question paper or semester question paper. We have divided the entire question paper into 4 sections after getting opinions from various experts in various departments. Actually, initially we had 5 sections catering to different levels: CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5. Instead of having a number of sections, ultimately everybody came to a conclusion to have 4 sections. Now section A corresponds to CO1. Could you see section A has 3 questions under K1 level, that is question number 1 to 3, then 3 questions from K2 level, question numbers 4 to 6. Each carries 1 mark, 6 into 1, 6. And these two K1 and K2 levels come under CO1. So totally 6 questions, 6 marks. Then section B corresponds to K3 level and CO2 level. Okay, K3 level, applying level. 2 questions are given and one has to be answered. And these 7th and 8th question comes under K3 level. K3 comes under CO2 level, course outcome 2 level. And 1 question has to be answered, 6 marks. Similarly, section C consists of 2 questions under K4 level. 1 out of 2 has to be answered, and 1 into 6 marks. Then in section D, we have clubbed both K5 level and K6 level, and students have been given options. Since it is an undergraduation level, we have giving options to choose between K5 level and K6 level. K5 is evaluating level, K6 is construction or creation level. Out of these two, we are giving options. So out among K5 level and K6 level, a student could opt for 1 question, and that corresponds to CO5. This is the template given for UG continuous internal assessment. Next comes a sample question paper. This is sample question paper, consists of 4 sections: section A, section B. Section A corresponds to, even in question paper itself, we are having a template to have the K levels, cognitive levels corresponding to the CL levels. Uh, Sorry, K levels as per the knowledge levels according to Bloom's taxonomy. CO levels, as we used to say, course outcome levels: CO1, CO2, etc., etc. 5. So section A completely, it is comprising of only CO1 levels, that is 3 K1 and 3 K2 levels. And action verbs are not restricted to this set of words. There are plenty of, actually I had sent LOCF manual to Professor Alma also, and in that plenty of options for action verbs for cognition levels under each level, CO1 to CO5, have been given, and precisely they are not restricted to that scope. Beyond that, we can think and we can reframe the questions with any action verbs. If you ask, there are, I need not tell you, if you ask, there are is there any kind of inaction verbs or action verbs and different kind of verbs? Of course, in English there are different kinds of verbs. That's how we had got explanation from our LOCF mentors. And according to that particular format, this is a sample model of question paper. This sample was given by an advanced biology department. So this comprises of 30 marks. and this will be given as first component CIA1. Similarly, similar pattern of second CIA will be conducted, and similarly, and for third component, guidelines has to be given by the management and the LOCF team, and ultimately, we have given in our college, management has given autonomy for particular professor, particular faculty to decide upon which has to be taken as component 3, like seminars or assignments or viva voce or any mini projects or even stuff like that also could be given and taken into account as component 3. Next comes the actually this format is given for a non-major elective. I don't think this is required. This is just simple or minute changes they have done in levels. They have not given K5 and K6 level for non-major electives. That's it. Next, this is the format for which was proposed and accepted by the team of LOCF in our college for end semester examination. This is template for, not template, yes, categorization template for semester end semester examination. So totally it should comprise of 100 marks altogether after taking option, after taking choices. Okay, first section deals with CO1. Similarly, there is no change between the levels and sections, both in continuous internal assessment question paper as well as end semester question paper. Only thing, the number of questions increases here. Okay. Here it may sound somewhat vague. Here one question carries 5 marks. So 4 5s are 20. You may ask, how are you going to give for one question 5 marks under knowledge level and understanding level? When I present you a sample question paper, you will come to understand. Just two questions under K1 level, 10 marks. Then two more questions under K2 level for 10 marks. So here, two questions 10 marks, two questions 10 marks, totally 20 marks under CO level. That comprises section A. Section B, section B, we are giving four options, four choices. Out of the two have to be chosen. Each carries 10 marks. This comes under K3 level. Similarly, section C, out of four questions under K4 level, students have to choose two questions, each 10 marks. So K3 level, that is corresponding to CO2, 20 marks, and K4 level under CO3 fetches maximum of 20 marks for the students. Last but not the least, section D, which is usually which we call as big questions or detail account questions like that. This comprises giving options, choices, four questions. Out of four, we need boys or girls need to choose two questions, each carry 20 marks. We are giving a choice, two questions under K5 level, two questions from K6 level, and students have their choice to choose any among these four, either in K4 or K5. Let me present you a sample question paper, how this K1 level, how this 5 marks have been categorized. One question, 5 marks, four questions, 20 marks under K1 and K2 level. Let us see how Loyola has given a model. Yeah, this is the model given by um, Advanced Zoology and Biotechnology, that is Zoology Department. Under section A, the question one, which has to be offered for 5 marks, they have given split it as five sub questions, five definitions. That is first question. So each definition carries 1 mark. So 5 ones are 5. All these are under K1 level. Question number two. So all these five questions under five, all 5 units are covered. Similarly, question number two, again it is under K1 level alone. K1 level. The type of question is different. They are giving fill in the blanks type. Also cater under K1 level. These five questions also should be splitted equally among 5 units. Then third question, it should come under K2 level. K2 level, they have given us match the following. And fourth question, 5 sub questions as true or false question, K2 level. So all these 4 questions comprises of 4 into 5, um, 20 marks. Sorry, 4 into 5, 20 marks. So section A comprises of 20 marks under K1 and K2 level. Now, even our management LOCF team had given autonomy for departments. By departments had the authority and autonomy to make a choice of how to frame the first question, whether to have definitions or whether to have fill in the blanks or match the following or true or false or MCQ or all the 20 questions, all the 20 sub questions to be under one category, no problem. That is left to the department. That autonomy was given to the department. After department decides, all the host faculty should adhere to the same pattern. That is the policy which we had taken. So we had certainly modified one or two subdivisions here. Like instead of match the following, we had replaced by MCQs. Choose the multiple choice questions. One correct answer from multiple choice questions. So like that, or if suppose they had given us another even if you want to keep the entire 20 marks as MCQ, no problem, go ahead. Like that, they gave us the autonomy. Only thing, 10 questions should be under K1 level and 10 questions should be under K2 level. That should be strictly followed. So that the bifurcation of K1 and K2 level should be equal. Then comes section B. Out of 4 questions, any 2 questions should be answered. Marks and all are not big issue. Then the way the question framed to be framed, it's slightly different because as faculty of mathematics, we won't be having different or we won't be having much scope to ask questions related with mathematics with different sort of words. We will be having a few action words or action verbs to frame questions. If you go beyond them, we may be distracting the students' way of thinking, as well as the point in which we are trying to frame the question itself will get deteriorated. So we were having certain challenges in framing even a model question paper, but our principal told it has to be strictly followed. So no other go. We tried and made up to a level to have different action verbs in or different way of asking question words, and try to fit into the levels, cognition levels. And last but not the least, section D have 2 questions under evaluation level and 2 under creation level. You could see evaluation summarize comes under K 5 level, under evaluation level, that is CO4 level, that is also given. And 15th and 16th question, substantiating and constructing, comes under creation level. That comes under K6 level of Bloom's taxonomy and CO5 level of course outcomes. This is sample question paper for this LOCF model. Uh, Now, how we have given the like not exactly blueprint, sort of blueprint for a major course, allied required, allied optional, major skill, and major elective papers. Section A. Uh, this is the marks bifurcation we have given. Here, CO1 level, 20 questions, 20 marks. CO2 level, 2 questions, totaling to 20 marks. CO3 level, totally 2 questions, totaling to 20 marks. CO, this is there is an option for students to choose among these 40 plus 40 18 marks. Just they need to answer just 2 questions. So boys and girls will be having a choice of choosing and having a chance to obtain a maximum of 40 marks, not 40 plus 40 80. They won't be able. They'll be having chance to score maximum of 40 marks. So totaling 40 plus 20 plus 20 plus 20 will fetch them 100 marks to a maximum extent. And this is under direct assessments, as I'd given you something about direct assessments, that is usual valuation, internal valuation, cia 1, cia 2, component 3, totaling up to 100 marks, and semester examination 100 marks. In cl and co percentage level they have mentioned. To understand that, section A corresponds to K1 and K2 level. It corresponds to course outcome 1 level. For CA, the marks, maximum marks allotted 6. Similarly, CA2 maximum 6, component 3 maximum 20. For semester, maximum 20 marks. That is first section A. Section A corresponds to 20 marks. So total marks 52. Actually, this is out of 200. Why 200? Because CIA 1, CIA 2, third component comprises 100 marks. That is internal valuation. Semester 100 marks, another 100 marks. That is end semester external valuation. So totaling up to 200 marks. So out of 200 marks, 52 marks come under section A, that is K1 and K2 level. Section B, corresponding to K3 Bloom's taxonomy level, cognition level, corresponds to second course outcome. Similarly, 6 marks CA1, 6 marks CA2, 10 marks third component, 20 marks in semester examination, totaling up to 42. Similarly, K4 42, this is given more weightage, or as usual, how usually we give higher weightage for big questions or detailed questions, we are giving that comes under CO4 and CO5. CO4 and CO5 level, that is evaluation and creation level, under these cognition levels K5 and K6. So we have omitted this K5 and K6 in component level. But in CIA we have included, CIA second CIA we have included, in semester we that is given the most highest weightage, 40 marks, totaling 46, 56, 64. So if you add this column 52, 42, 42, 64, we will get 200 marks. So that will correspond to this percentage, 26, 21, 21, 32. This is the weightage given CO level wise, yes, course outcome level wise, as well as cognition level, K1 to K6 level wise. This is a format given suggested for lab courses. We are having plenty science papers. For lab courses, they have given a suggestion. Accordingly, they have given a sample question paper here. Equal weightage for each section, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. K1, K2 20, K3 level 20, K4 level 20, K5 level 20, K6 level 20. Yes, this is a model suggested, and on this model, the software is getting updated, is getting constructed actually. Usually, the score sheet, the model will be like, on first column we'll be having department numbers of the students, on second column we'll be having the total marks out of 100, and rest of the columns will correspond to question number. The rest of the columns will correspond to question number. So taking a particular student's answer script, going through the answer script, whichever question he or she answers, we'll mark under the corresponding grid. And by adding all the marks scored by a particular student in a particular row, will give and sum up to the maximum marks which that particular candidate has scored. This is the usual score sheet which we follow. Now this is the new suggestion, new thing which we are going to follow according to this LOCF model. Internal or external, whichever valuation it may be, question numbers, each this particular boxes is corresponding to one particular student. So the space is going to more number of space is going to be taken. Okay, this entire box is for single student. So first question, A, B, C, D, E. Actually, in semester question paper, first question had 5 sub questions, right? Like 5 definitions. So in A, how much mark is scored? B, how much mark is scored? So for first question, how much total? For second question, subdivision, sub questions, A, B, C, D, E, 5 questions, how much he has scored. If you add these two total, you will get total 1. That corresponds to K1 level. Similarly, third and fourth question corresponds to K2 level. If you add these two total, getting total of total 2, this total 2 corresponds to the attainment of that particular student under this cognition level K2. Total of 1 and 2 will give you a summation or overall picture of how much the particular candidate had scored or performed under CO1 level. Similarly, proceeding section B corresponds to K3 level. This marks this marks corresponds to K4 level in under section C, and this marks correspond to under section D. This first grid for K5 level, because section D comprises 2 questions under CO4, 2 questions under CO5. So adding, yes, ma'am.
Sir, for each student, we'll be correcting and giving the marks and entering in the sheet. Is it like that? Because we do not know. Just
Yes, actually, in the previous 2 semesters, though we are doing everything online, as per our college is concerned, even scoring sheet also, even marking answers sheets also, by looking into the online answer script in Google Drive, we just we'll just put the marks in Excel sheet, and we submit that to controllers of exam. We ourselves will enter the marks in portal in marks entering portal, and we'll submit that sheet to them. Now, another question rises: if all these things are going to be done on paper basis, it definitely it will take a huge collection of papers. If it's going to be done as soft copies, as computer based, we will be requiring only memories, not papers. So there arises a question, of course. Just we have giving a model. This model of score sheet is for a purpose. If everything is done under this model, entering everything in that particular software based mark entry system, if we enter the marks, then uh, once we run through everything, the results, everything will be categorized under a particular student's marks itself will be categorized under different K levels and different CO levels. So the attainment calculation will be easier according to the model given by Loyola LOCF model. That is the purpose. Of course, this will take a lot of papers. Of course, memory space will be should be increased. Did I answer you, ma'am?
yes, yes, sir.
Oh,
So we are used to the routine the correction work, right? We have the papers and it's not.
oh,
That's
okay,
why I am just thinking. So
okay,
20 marks and all, we used to sit and read and correct and give the marks like that
okay,
it is. But now,
okay,
as you say, building a software and putting the marks, I was just thinking about how do we
okay,
mark for 20 marks and 5 marks and things like that.
okay, okay. Oh, whichever is feasible for you, you may adapt. I suppose, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sir.
this last box gives you grand total. What is the total marks which the particular candidate has scored? So actually, usually we put each question this much marks has scored. If a particular student has answered more number of questions, even taking choices into account, we'll just round it off. Then we'll exclude those marks, and we'll consolidate all the marks, and we'll just sum up and put it in one grid. Now, this single table itself is for one student. Like that, the proposal has been made.
Okay.
Yeah, component three, as I had said, we Loyola College giving 40 percentage for components. That is the internal valuation. 30 marks for first CAA, 30 marks for second CAA. That is common and centralized. The examination is centralized. Like a particular week will be allocated for first CAA, particular week will be allocated for second CAA, and all the students from all the departments will be taking up CA examination, CA test though in those 2 weeks it is centralized. But the component 3, it is up to the course faculty to decide and make a format, either from first week or second week or third week till the last week of the semester. And some of the suggestions which the course LOCF members gave was mini project. It may differ from course to course. A particular course like operations research may have scope to do mini project. A particular course like real analysis, like a theory paper in mathematics, may not have a good scope in doing mini project. That too in a stipulated time, like 4 months. A semester runs for maximum for 4 to 5 months. In 4 5 months, mini project under real analysis is really difficult, as it's a theory paper. And scope for many project for such things also may not cater to all possible papers. So we our LOCF team has given different opinions. Again, it is not restricted or restricted to this scope only, any project or seminar assignments alone. Departments have the autonomy to make decisions on component 3 and give suggestions to the faculty members, and faculty members ultimately will have the authority to choose which component to decide upon. And this present slide gives is a suggestion given by the LOCF to core team members mini project, and this is the rubrics under which category students could be evaluated uh, for how much marks, totaling up to 100 marks. Ultimately, after doing that, everything could be consolidated for 40 marks, as we have allocated 40% for component 3. Similarly, seminars or assignments or MCQ could be done. The suggested rubrics have been given like this. Departments has the autonomy and authority to customize according to their need and their purpose. And this is actually different internship or field visit. In Loyola College for undergraduate student, we make it a part of curriculum. Like in sixth semester, all the boys and girls have to do a 20 days or 30 days internship, getting a getting in association with some company or firm or some organization or NGO, and they have to complete one internship according to the subjects related which they have chosen. And rubrics also have been given for valuation of internship. And this is the suggested model for answer booklet pages. Actually, this is just a suggested model. It has not been finalized. As of now, what we are doing, uh, having a answer booklet of around 10 pages, and after boys and girls completing a particular answer booklet, we will be giving extra sheets. Now they are suggesting a model to give a standard answer booklet comprising of certain number of pages, like 40 pages, what they have suggested. Again, there are pros and cons, there are drawbacks again, and things are what to say, இன்னும் தீர்மானிக்கப்படல. They have not decided it. And this is the just suggestion given by the LOCF core team members to have, by having a rough calculation of number of pages for a particular section they have calculated. Again, there will be a difference of opinion from people from arts, people from commerce, people from sciences, as well as for UG as well as for PG. There will be difference in the consumption of pages. So nothing has been finalized. This is just a suggested model. Yes, the last part is OB attainment calculation. Ma'am, till this, if anybody, any of the professors is having any doubt, you could ask. I would respond to you.
Sir, we can continue, I think. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay, till we have 20 more minutes till 2 o'clock. I'll continue.
Yes.
OB attainment calculation. This is the last part. Actually, 3 is missing. Part 3. OB attainment calculation. This is the, like if you are taking a movie. something like a pre-production, production, post-production. This is like post-production, not exactly, just to have some idea. Post work, after doing all the groundwork, as we had mentioned in part one, and all the work, all the evaluation work, all the learning part which the students do, and testing and evaluation part what we do will come under part two. And calculation part, what all the things which the students have achieved, and ultimately the feedback which we get ultimately by seeing or looking into the progress and the performance of students, how are we going to uh, rank our evaluation method and actually our entire curriculum. That is what is done in this attainment calculation. Okay, as it said, software is under development. They are trying to build up a software. What are they are doing in software? Let me brief you out. Professors, is it visible? Is the font visible to you? Is this okay, or should I maximize or zoom?
Zoom, sir.
Zoom. Okay, this is okay, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We are giving a suggestion or model of doing attainment calculation as follows. In the following manner, the software is getting modeled. Okay. At an outset, the attainment calculations are done on different basis, on course outcome basis, cognitive levels corresponding to course outcomes, teaching pedagogy, evaluation methods, direct and indirect. As I told, direct is the usual valuation which we do under CIA 1, CIA 2, component 3, total 100 marks. Then semester end semester another 100 marks, totaling up to 200 marks. Usually, by dividing that by 2, what marks a student get will be given as aggregate score for that particular course. So out of 100 marks. So that will be presented in a particular student's cumulative grade card or mark sheet, consolidated mark sheet. 90 percentage of that marks will be taken, and 10 percentage feedback from stakeholders, from students, from alumni, from parents, from the employers, and that 10 percentage consolidation will be added to this 90 percentage, totaling up to 100 percentage will be taken as evaluation methods. Okay, then threshold for CO in a particular subject. I remember last session, while discussing teaching, sorry, lesson plan, that is dynamic lesson plan, fixing a threshold, how to fix a threshold, that is what is this threshold value for CO, course outcome. I remember I told fixing a threshold is nothing but average of the previous batch students. Average marks scored by the previous batch students could be taken as cutoff, or a benchmark for the present batch students. It may differ. It may differ. It need not be the same. For batches, last batch would have been a bit high in IQ when we take average. The present batch will be maybe very low in IQ. By keeping the benchmark of the previous batch may make us get into pitfall. We have to be very much careful in fixing the threshold. Yes.
So,
Indirect method. Yes, ma'am.
kindly repeat that, sir. How do we?
This threshold.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Otherwise, I'll take another dynamic lesson plan. This is what I was talking about.
Okay.
Last class I was talking about this dynamic lesson plan. This first column is nothing but units. This second column, this complete part is nothing but the content in first unit. Now, in dynamic lesson plan, content of first unit itself is segregated as different sections, like section wise. First section, how much, in how many hours are we able to do it, expected number of hours which we'll be able to complete, that is this is a cognition level corresponding to this particular section of that particular unit 1. Okay, if we put k1 and k2 of definitely co1. Now this is what I was talking about, co attainment threshold. This is something which the particular course faculty or a professors, up to the professor to fix. It may be even 70 percentage, it may be even 65 percentage, it may be even 80 percentage. It is a benchmark or a cutoff which we are going to fix. We are not going to show this to our students. It is for our calculation, attainment calculation. By fixing this, what we are doing is, actually, as of now, this LOCF model is new. We don't have any previous batch who had taken up this LOCF model curriculum. How we had fixed this threshold as 82. This is a course called Algebra, first semester, first paper, first major paper. Just keeping the performance of previous batch students and some of a rationale behind LOCF model. Professors who were, myself, actually I also was doing course descriptor and the dynamic lesson plan for algebra. One senior professor also was there, another colleague of mine, two colleagues of mine were there, so four of us together compiled the course descriptor as well as the dynamic lesson plan for algebra. How we did this course attainment threshold is by taking, actually we are doing in two shifts, all the shifts, two shift one day college, shift two evening college, afternoon college. Both the professors handling both the shifts came together and looking into the previous batch's performance, average performance, both internals as well as semester examination, we tried to fix 82 percentage. But again, among ourselves we had a talk like, since last entire year was, it was online examination, students getting or fetching marks in online examination, actually they don't match with their actual caliber or actual IQ, because of various impacts, various attributes. Online examination might have fetched them higher marks. If that is kept as threshold, attainment threshold, and supposing if this particular present batch, of course next batches will be going to get back to the same usual mode, and they're going to take up usual examination. That too, particularly this particular batch, all the while for past 1.5 years they were doing online learning, online examination, and suddenly they are going to come back to offline examination, offline mode, and suddenly after a long gap they are going to take up usual examination, physically present in a particular classroom as a examination hall. They're going to take up, they cannot do any malpractice, frankly speaking, they cannot do any malpractice, like as how they had chances of doing so many kind of such things in their online examinations. If that is going to happen, so there will be definitely a drop of percentage, there will be definitely a drop of average percentage of the particular present year students. How are we going to manage? That is a big question. If this is going to, if we are going to keep up this benchmark as high as this, then definitely the next immediate batch will make us fall into pitfall, definitely, and that should be kept in our minds. That is what, ma'am, that is what I was talking about, uh, course outcome attainment threshold. Did I answer you, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not between some 80% and 90% like that.
Yeah.
Anything below?
Actually, the model which was given by Advanced Biology, they had safely kept, they had safely made 70 as a threshold.
Okay. Okay.
And it's according to the particular professors to fix the threshold, it seems. Again, if anything for that matter, any question arises, the particular professor, course faculty, or the persons who had framed the course descriptors and framed the lesson plan should be able to answer and
Answer.
give justification. That is
Okay.
the point.
Okay. Okay. So it needn't have to be the same for courses also, right? It
No,
could be.
need not, need not.
Okay.
Even it could be different from course to course. Even it could be different from section one for unit one itself. Section one could be different attainment threshold percentage. For section two, it could be different. That also is possible. It is up to the particular faculty to decide.
Yeah, it has to be. No, some portions may be tough for the students.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, understood. Yes.
Okay. Yes, this is mark distribution, as I'd already told the same thing. The indirect method, it's feedback from students, etc., etc., parents, alumni, employer. Okay, the course outcome attainment rubrics has been given like this. For average percentage greater than or equal to 50, low, that is, we'll go from higher. The suggested rubrics is like this. Suggested rubrics by LOCF core team by Loyola College. It's greater than or equal to 60. We consider it to be high. Give value 3. If it is greater than 55 or equal to 55, moderate. Give value 2. Greater than or equal to 50, low, 1. This is the suggested thing given. After doing that, this was actually done not with just a database of LOCF after the database of marks of students after implementing LOCF, because this present batch 21-22 UG students, this batch is the first batch for going through this LOCF. But in order to have some calculation, professor of zoology had taken the marks attained by the students in previous semester, and he had categorized the level of questions under different CO1 to CO5, and he had categorized a particular, this first column gives students department number. Okay, in CIA 1, how much marks he had attained under, out of 6 marks he had attained 4 marks, out of 5 marks he had attained 4 marks, out of
So,
5 marks. Yes, ma'am.
but for the previous batch means you would not have considered about the CO1, CO.
Yes, yes, but the LOCF team, core team member, Dr. Milton, he's a zoology professor. He
Okay.
had given this model. He himself had compiled the entire user manual. He
Okay.
had already experimented with this model with the
Okay.
previous batch
Okay.
in the usual question paper itself, separating the questions under different levels. So he had some database
Mm.
under different CO levels. So
Mhm.
with that help, he had given this just a template for how to calculate this things.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So under each level for CA1, under CO1, CO2, CO3, CO5, that particular first candidate, 20 batch undergraduation advanced zoology. This zoology student 001 had scored these much marks for CA1 under these course outcome levels. Similarly, under CAA2, he had scored this much. Under component, he had scored this much, 18, 17. For external semester marks, he had scored this much. So totally, he had scored 83. Individual scores also, he had individually according to the CO levels also, the split is there. So if I want to just know about this person's IQ under CO levels, I could just add all the CO marks, CO1 marks in first CAA 4 marks, in second CAA 5 marks, in this external this much marks, and out of total marks 30 plus 6 plus 6, 42, how much he had scored. So that much percentage he had given his performance under CO1 level that could be attained. This is done for the entire batch of students. Now already he had fixed attainment cutoff, right? Actually he had in his dynamic lesson plan of this particular paper, he had fixed 70 percentage. Now he had marked all those who have crossed 70 and 70 above. So these many students who have been, whose marks have been highlighted under CO levels above 70 or equal to or above 70 have been highlighted. And among all the entries, how many have been highlighted? He has calculated that also. He had calculated that also by using this formula, and he had given that 70 was target percentage. That cutoff percentage he had renamed as target percentage. That attainment percentage, 70 he had marked, but several students had got above 70. He had counted the number of students, total number of students 15. 14 students have crossed the cutoff percentage with this much CO attainment. CO attainment for that particular CO level is been done using this formula. Number of students greater than that particular target divided by total number of students multiplied by usual percentage. This is usual percentage. So 93 percentage, 93.3 percentage of the total number of students have got above that cutoff level, above the threshold level. And again, this is going to be a serious business. Why? If suppose for 1 year we are going to show a very a huge progress in this CO attainment, question comes: if next year, if the following year, if the progress is not that much good, again a question will arise. Suddenly, after 5 years, if there's going to be a drop in this CO attainment percentage, question will arise. So, keeping all the things in mind, we need to fix the threshold. That too, every year, if we are going to keep the same percentage as threshold, again a question will arise. Why you are doing the same thing? Why you are not increasing the threshold? Of course we are marching towards some excellence, of course we are to show some progress. So in fixing threshold also, there should be some progress. Keeping all those things in mind, we have to fix the cutoff value. So accordingly, in this particular course, the CO1 attainment has been given like 93.3. That is knowing knowledge level and understanding level. This much attainment has been done. CO2 level 73, CO3 level 80, CO4 level 80, CO5 level 80. That is how the calculation has been come out for this particular. This is nothing but the course outcome level percentage attainment. Yes. For indirect method, that is the previous slide, it was by direct method, by having CIA examinations, continuous internal assessment, and component 3 like seminars or viva voce or any other mini projects or seminar or assignments or things like that, and end semester examination. That is direct method. Indirect method, we have to, the particular course teacher catering to the requirements of that particular course need to design a questionnaire. How far it has been helpful for the students to progress, how far it is helpful for the employers to have such kind of syllabus or such kind of curriculum, in which manner the students had given that much progress in that particular company. What are the feedbacks they are going to give? That's going to they had suggested for 25 questions, and scale level has been given, like feedback, usually feedback form will be having a scale level 0 to 5, and accordingly the points have been taken into account, and that points have been uh, converted as average percentage, and from this percentage 10 percentage has to be taken and added with 90 percentage of our direct assessment. So total up to 100 percentage will be getting. That would be taken into account for our analysis of our entire process of LOCF model. That is the whole thing about. So consolidated report would be given. They had given a suggestive template like this for a particular course. For a particular course, cell biology, under CO level, CO1 to CO5, internal method, direct method. So out of 200 marks, that particular 90 percentage what they have taken, and direct method, that is direct method. Okay, this is how much percentage actually they have got out of 100. Out of this, 90 percentage is this much. Out of 80, 90 percentage is 72, like that they have calculated. The balance 10 percentage, this is the indirect method. They have got this as the feedback. From this, 10 percentage has been taken into account. So this column 90 percentage and this column 10 percentage, totaling to this much percentage. This is CO attainment.
How
With that,
about,
yes,
sir?
ma'am. Yes,
How
ma'am.
about for a student? How are we going to give the marks to the students? Yeah.
Yes, just
So,
this direct method, how much the first, second column alone will be presented to students. Nothing of this part will
yeah,
be known to students. But
yeah.
of course, from students, we will be getting feedback. From parents, we'll be getting feedback. But
Okay.
all the inclusion of this direct and indirect CO attainment 90 plus 10 is ultimately for our purpose, for the progress of the management, the curriculum as such. It is
Okay.
nothing to do to show to the students. It is
Okay.
to what to say, make a retreat of our preparation.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
And by looking into this CO attainment, we may be analyzing and we may be fine tuning for the next batch of students. That's it.
Oh, okay.